Hey folks, it's that time of the evening, day 38, part 2, Devlog, and just give me a second, I'm just going to give my glasses a wipe. Hopefully all you guys out there are well, and tonight we are going to, well, earlier on we started on the deleting slots, and I now have that up and running to a certain degree. So we're going to take a look at that and see how it goes. So let's get on, shall we? So first things first, take a look at where we are. So we now have a managed data, etc. And we've got this here. I don't think I've programmed the back button yet, but we can do that in a second or two. So what this is going to do is it's going to delete the slot. Okay? So we've got the delete slot widget, which is this one here, and this is the on clicked. So we really want to see this. Okay. So let's have a look, shall we? So we have our managed data, and we shall delete my game. So there we have it. The game is going to be my game, which is correct. Then we're going to step into. Now the interesting thing here is in here we've got a my game save. Now I'm wondering if this is actually going to delete it or not. And actually I'm going to stop that right there because this isn't correct. Except it is. Because this is going to delete the data, and this is going to delete it from our game instance and our save slots, and then save it. Okay, but we do need to make sure, if we look at our save games again, that we've got the right name, save slots. Okay, cool. And you can see there that I've got an S. So I'm glad that I actually had a look at that, because that would have been a weird one. So we go back, manage data, my game. We're going to delete the slot, right? And we're going to check resume. So we are here. Resume. Okay. Now, this is where I know that we have an issue. Well, this is actually pointed out that we're going to have two issues, because now this needs to be refreshed. Okay. So we're going to stop it. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to check our save games, and it has deleted that save game, which is good. And if we press play, the point is that we don't really have a continue, because our current save game, we basically don't have one, right? So at this point the continue should not load up, right? Now that's now working, but that's what it should look like once we actually delete. Okay, so if we go to our event graph, we want to do this. But the first thing we need to do is we need to remove the children of this. Okay, so now this is automatically going to clear all the children out first. Okay, right, and interestingly, once we do this, we need to do this again. Okay. Now we need to do something with this as well, but we're going to check. Right, so in here we need to basically reload these. Okay. And that's going to go in there. That's going to go in there. And basically we straighten to reroute node. Save that. In fact, we can kind of do that. That'll do us. Okay. So now, when we delete our slot, it will refresh these slots. Okay, so if we manage this and we say delete helder, it's going to resume and you'll see that it's now deleted. And then, well, we won't see it because we need to program the back, but you get the picture. Let me get a sip of my coffee. We shall continue. Okay. So we can disable this breakpoint. We know it's working. And everything else is good, I believe. And we want this to obviously go that colour as well. Okay, so we're going to have to do this individually outside our asset, but it's fine. So we're going to go to our graph, to our event graph. And that's fine. We can use these. Okay. So I believe that let's click on that. So this isn't load game. Okay, so this is manage data. And this is button. And it's also going to be manage data. Okay. So we're going to click on that. We're going to go to our graph. Now, I don't know why I can't scroll on this until I do that. Right, and I don't know why it's not. It's on the button data, right? So right, so it's on this, okay? Hovered. Unhovered. Okay, duplicate that. Then we delete these. And we get this. Save that. So we're now just basically gradually fixing things that need fixed within our menu. Okay. So you can see now that this is doing the same thing as the other things. Okay. And on our button back, on the click of it or pressed, we just say back to main, which basically sets the widgets which are back. Okay. Okay. As you can see, that works fine. And now the only anomaly here is this manage data. Okay, we better make sure this is the right one. Apparently it's not. Right. So it's this button here. So it's this button here. Okay. And we just say unhover. And we'll save that for now. And it is button manage data. Ah. But it's not the text. Right, so this is text. Manage data. Okay. Just drag that in a couple of times. That goes there. That goes there. Tidy this up a bit. Okay. So now it works the same as our other buttons, which is excellent. We can do back, that's fine. Now we need to work out if our continue button makes sense. Okay. So if we go here, this is going to be load slots. So that's not it. I believe let's go back here. So in actual fact, this has actually become redundant. Okay, because there's not, it isn't, this isn't true. Okay, so what it's doing is it's coming in here and it's checking how many saves we have. Okay, and if it's greater than 0, then we are activating the continue button. If it's greater than 1, we're activating the load button, right? But this has actually become incorrect. Okay. Now, the reason for that is because if you delete the current save, then we don't have a current game, right? So you can't continue because you don't have a current game. So this logic is actually incorrect when you think about it. But it is going to be useful, so I'm going to cut it. Okay. We're going to go back to our event graph in our controller, and we're going to say set current game or set continue and load buttons. Okay. Then we're going to paste our code in here. Right, but we're actually going to do something slightly different with it. We're going to get a ref save slots. Right. Now, the interesting thing here, right, is if I do this, if I save it right now, I'm going to show you. Right, we're going to make this visible, okay? So, because we deleted the current game, okay, in here you can see that it's the wrong thing, right? Now, and that's because if I press play again, okay, and I want to do a new game, this should become the current slot, right? So we'll call it my game, right? Now that doesn't take us into the game yet, which needs, oh yeah it does. So we've got my game, okay. Now if we press play again, we're just going to debug this and make sure everything is as we think. Right, so slot name is my game. My game is the current game. Level name is nothing at the moment, which is correct. Right, now if I go to manage data, right, and I delete my game, this should update. Okay. Now, what we want to see here is when we run it again, this should be blank, right? Which it is. Okay. That's what we want. But the thing is, right, the continue should not be showing in this case. Okay, because we don't have anything to continue with. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a function that basically sets these up. Now, there's the thing. I copied them, didn't I? Did I delete them? It was load right, we'll find it in a minute. But basically this part here was wrong and was where we were setting up the continue button, right? But that code should not actually be running anymore, right? Right, so this should not be there and that should be there. Okay. So Did we delete it? That's interesting. Right, we're going to get rid of that for now. We're going to get rid of that for now, and that, and that, and that. Okay, that'll do for now. This will be getting deleted as well. But for some reason, our buttons are getting set up, right? And we don't want them to at this point. So I don't know where that was, that particular code. Right? So what I really want to know is this continue button, right? I want to do a find references on it. Unpressed, unhovered. Right, so we ain't doing that. And we ain't doing that either. Okay. So we've still got this. So I can only guess that it's enabled by default. Okay. Or at least it's visible. Yep. It's visible by default. Okay, well I can live with that. As long as I know what both of them are, I can live with it, right? Right, so now I know what to do. Okay. So what we do is we say slots. We don't do that. We get the slots. Right? And we add a local variable and we'll call it has current, oops, daisies, has current. Okay. And has saves. Okay. So the first thing is we do length of this. Right? And if it's greater than 0, we're going to do 2 checks, one for current, one for saves. So let's just put it in a sequence, keep it nice and tidy. Okay. So that's the loady hogwash. This one is going to be branch. Okay. We can make a nice pattern, pretty patterns again. Move this over here. Right, so if this has got stuff, we show this. Okay. Then for this one, we go in here. Then we do for each. Then we break the struct. And if one of them is true, so if is current, okay, oops, daisies, we do that. Right, now we know that they are actually visible anyway to start with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to do the false as well and make them not visible. No big deal, but we can do it anyway. Okay. I'll do it. Ah. Okay. That's fine. We'll do this first. Right, and it's going to basically be, I think we're going to end up doing this visibility thing. Yeah, you see, because this is visible or not, right? And this is going to go in there. Hidden. this hide unconnected, and that's us. Okay, so now when we load this, we've got to run it. Duh. If we go back to our event graph, right, then we say set continue and load buttons. Okay. Now we're going to have to run this again after we do the delete slot thing. Continue and load buttons. There we go. So there we go, and apparently somebody outside is murdering a child or something. I don't think that's the case, she's just kind of crying a bit. Right, so that kind of worked, except it kind of didn't. And this one didn't work at all. Right, so we're going to add breakpoint. Now this was fine because this is 1, right? The problem is this one. And there it's disappeared. Okay. So the question now would be, do we do the same here? Okay. Now if I say new game and we say test game, create, then stop it and start it again, we have got to continue this time, which is good. That's what we wanted, so that's working. Okay, so we're kind of happy with that. So we've worked out the kinks of our continue button and our load. So that's all good. I think what we will do, I think what I'm going to do, right, is I am going to set the visibility for this. right? And we're going to duplicate it. If it duplicates for us, there we go. And we'll say collapsed. So we'll go there, and that's going to be there. Save that. Right. And we'll remove this breakpoint for the moment. Then what we'll do is we'll come into our save games and we'll basically delete everything. Okay, so when we run it now, it shouldn't have continue or load. Okay, it should just have new game. Well, it's got continue for some reason. I don't understand that. I'm going to put break again. Right, there's no way that that should happen. Unless, okay. Right. Now, we did. Right, I was a bit quick. No, wait a minute. It was to continue. Right, that's a continue. Right, if we go back to the start of our thing, we have got a local variable, and we're now going to use has current, and we're going to set it, and we're going to set it again. Right. Meanwhile, I'll press a button on my mouse again that's right up in a just in the position where I always accidentally press it, and it's basically like a back button, which is really annoying. But anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to do that, we're going to do that. We're going to move this down not quite that far. We're going to do that. And if it's true, we're going to do that. Then we're going to duplicate that. And because it was never going in here, it just left, it never got to actually either switch it on or switch it off. So it just went to default, basically. That's why it did what it did there. Right, so we basically say has current, plug it in there. And there we go, save that, press play, and there we go. Okay, now if I create a new game, call it this, save, create. Okay. Stop it. Then press play again. We get new game, load game. But for some reason, we did not get it. And that's because I goofed. Okay. Disable that. Resume. And now we have all the things. Right? Now, you could argue that if the only one is the saved one, then you don't put load game, you've only got continue, but that's like a... we're being picky. Right? So the argument is, do we actually deal with that? Okay. So on that, guys, I'm going to go and grab a cigarette. If you're enjoying this, hit the like and subscribe, and check out the description while I'm gone, and you'll find links to the Discord for this game, Groenland, my personal Discord server, my Patreon where you can support the channel and the game, and also my previous game on Steam, which is available for $1, so you can support the channel by getting that as well, and you get a game for $1. Can't be bad. Anyway, don't go anywhere, guys. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay guys, we are back and we're going to give ourselves a little bit of a pat on the back and a reward for getting that all sorted out. And our reward is going to be something that I didn't actually think about that we might use in the game. And I think it might be quite cool. Okay, now I'm going to have to muck about with some certain things here, but we're going to do a crazy thing. Okay, or at least we're going to try it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and get an arrow, wherever the arrow is. I believe it's under hunting, which it is. Now we do have an arrow. Okay, and what I'm going to do is something rather crazy. As I said, we're doing some crazy stuff here, so let's do it. We're going to get a mesh and we're going to add a spring arm. Why won't it let me add a spring arm? Come on. Might not let me do it. Might have to attach it to the cube. Spring arm. Well, there we go. Apparently it does. Right. And we'll call it camera. Boom. Okay. We're going to save that. And now you'll notice that our camera, boom, is in the wrong direction. Right, I'm going to do something here, right? I'm going to add an arrow. Right, now that is the correct direction, right? And we've got this camera boom. Now it looks to me right that what we need is it to be not so far away. And let's see. That's going to be okay. So we don't actually want that. What we want is that. don't actually want that. Give me a second, guys. Dog's about to start going crazy. I'll turn the mic off for two. Okay, so we've got our camera boom. Now, I'm going to take this away again, but as you can see, that's not really what we want from the camera boom, so I was right with 180 degrees. Okay. Now, I don't know why our camera is a mile away from the boom. Right? But it's better at least. We can save that. Hi, Stormrun Gaming, how you doing, bud? Got no idea. Is it in game or in the editor or what is it? Or both? Right, so our camera is good. Right, now what I'm going to do here is something a bit super wonky, and that is if we look at our pawn, right, and yeah, we'll try it and stand alone as well, just to see. Sounds a bit weird though. Right, so what we're going to do, right, is we're basically going to do this. Okay, so I'm going to get this, I'm going to copy this, okay, then we're going to attach it to the arrow. Yes, we are basically making it a hunting kill cam. Okay, now the interesting thing here is that's on event hit. Right, now is there any other events here? Nope. So, right, okay. This is a bit weird. So, it's actually in our pawn. In our pawn, we basically fire an arrow, right? So we've got action equip bow, and then we've got action fire the arrow. Okay. So we spawn the actor and do all that stuff. Then basically, oops, daisies. We don't, you know what, we don't actually even need a camera boom for this, right? All we need is this thing. Okay? Believe it or not. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove, we are going to, right, tell you what we'll do. We're going to save this, right? We're going to add a viewport. Right, then we're going to add a camera. Right? And this is just purely to get an idea of where to place this. Right? So what we want is the camera to be looking at the middle of the screen, right? But we'll be looking slightly above the arrow, okay? But we will be following the arrow, okay? So what I'll do now is I'm going to add a scene component. Okay, it's just scene. Right, and we'll call this camera pause. Okay, and then we'll just attach this to the mesh. Then we'll delete our camera. Right, now if we look at our camera position, okay, it's moved it again. But I believe it was like minus 32 or something. We'll play about that, right? But what we'll do is put 10. And that puts us slightly above it. You don't need to admire you guys or nothing. You learn. You know, when I first started off, I was like you know, everything was a problem. But you gradually get used to it, right? And you gradually get better at it, and then you can do things, right? And then once you can do things, it gives you, like this idea here of how to do basically a kill cam. I'm just doing it because, well, I think I can now. Right? So if we go back to here, what we can do is we can do that. Right? And that's our new target, right? So this will be interesting. Now, I might have to slow down the speed of our arrow, right? Because this might happen so bleeding fast. Right, a second's going to be way too fast, right? Or way too slow, so I'm going to go 0.25 seconds, right? Now, we are going to have to take it back out of this view, but it should be interesting. Right, so this is going to be a bit of fun. So I'm going to go back to my maps, and I'm just going to open up test map. We'll save all that stuff. Right, press play. Now, I'm afraid to fire here. Well, that didn't work. That was all a bit of a anticlimax there. Whoops. Right. So, yeah, okay. It's going to be the scene. Right, hang on a second. I want a bit of clarity on this. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to say BP actor, and it's camera pause, okay? So it's going to be this. Am I going to have to cast this? Ah, wait a minute. No, it's not. It's not at all, you daft Egypt. Right? We're spawning this arrow. It's the arrow that has the camera pause. Okay? So basically we come in here and say camera pause. A bit of a doofus. Right? And that is the parent. Okay? Now, I don't know why our deer didn't run away with the sound of the footsteps. We'll need to check that out. Right. So here we go. Who knows what will happen here? Right, off they go. Right. It's... Oh, look at that! That's cool! I'm going to do that again because it's cool. Right? And there you have it. but I can't change the camera back. Yeah, but that is so... That is pretty darn... Actually, that's pretty darn cool, I would say. Okay, and this is the one to set it back, right? So all we need to do is basically run this code. Okay. So what we could do is we could say custom event, add a custom event, right? And say remove blend camera. Okay. Right. And in here, what we can do is if it hits something, well, it's always going to hit something. It just depends what it is, right? But we can get player controller. We might already have the player controller on this. I don't know. No, we don't. Never mind. Cast to oh, it shouldn't be that. Ah, it's pawn. Okay, get pawn. Cast to that. And then remove blend camera. Should really be reset blend camera when I think about it, but hey ho, it'll do for now. We can rename it if we want later. So we could do it any number of ways here, but the point being that okay, so we go pew, and it shoots straight back. Okay. Now, if we wanted to actually see what happens here, right, we could always stick on a delay. Right, obviously we'll make the code a little bit more intricate, but it's just to give us an idea how this might look if we basically do a kill cam. And that's pretty darn cool. Right? We can do that again. Oh, that's so cool, I like that. Needs a bit of touching up, let's say. Right? But it is working. Right, I'm going to have to take a break for 2 minutes, guys, because I'm going to have to say hello to the wife who's just came back. So I shall be 2 minutes, and I'll be right back. If you're enjoying the stream, hit like and subscribe, and don't go anywhere, I'll be back. Okay guys, we're back, and this is actually a very interesting thing because it's always something that I wanted to know, which was how far our arrows actually go, and to find out if there's actually like a drop on them, right? So in theory, if I fire up in the air, does it come down? And the answer is yes. Because that's me hit water, I think. Okay. But the only way to know for sure, right, is to stick an event tick on this and find out what its Z position is. We don't want to do that. Actor location. Right, may as well just split this. Right, and if we do print string and we print out Z, we should find out exactly how high our thing is. Okay, let's try it out. Eight thousand, 9,000, 10,000, 9,000, 8,000. Yep, we're definitely going down again. Okay. And now, the really interesting part is when we spawn this arrow, right, that's the switch camera thing. Okay. I believe that we've got this initial max speed, gravity, right? Now the interesting thing here we can add like an impulse. So my intention is, right, that depending on the wind direction, we add impulse to these, right? So that if you're firing from far away, then it's going to affect it more. Okay? To an inverse degree. Okay? So in theory, we can get, well, actually, what we can do is we can say get player pawn, right? And the pawn has access to infinity weather. It should have, no, it's got it to okay, we don't have a reference to the infinity weather apparently. I was sure we did. Maybe not. We've got it to dynamic sky, that's what it is. Right, okay. But we can certainly muck about with this, right? So we can say get all actors of class. We do have this somewhere because we're using the infinity weather for our pawn. But it might be just in the animation blueprint, so we might only have it there. Anyway, we'll say infinity weather controller. Okay, and we say copy. Right. And we'll move this stuff out of the way just now. And wind. Get wind data at location. Right, this is an interesting one. Do we have get wind direction? We do. Read the value of wind distance. Don't know what that is. But we definitely want this. Whatever it is. What is this thing? Right, this is not telling us the right thing here. Okay. Ah, wait a minute. what we're looking for here is what type of component we have. BP Infinity Weather Controller. Right, now so do we have wind, get wind direction? Let's see, get wind direction. Now I'm just wondering if this, the wind distance, is actually a normalized direction. Right, I'm going to need to read up on what the Infinity Weather says about it. Right, but we've got wind distance. As I said, that might be a rotation. So wind. Now this is a component, apparently. Is this projectile movement got something to do with wind as well in it? And that's why... Has this got like a... No, apparently not. I'm going to have to look at the documentation on this one, I'm afraid. To find out exactly what this is. Yeah, because I don't know what this wind direction thing is, and I don't know what this wind distance is. Okay, so we're going to leave it for tonight. I'll work on this a little bit more, have a little bit of reading, which I don't want to do on stream obviously. So if you've enjoyed the stream, hit like and subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow, 2 PM Central, as usual. check out the description for links to the Discord server and my personal one, plus Patreon to support the channel, and my previous game on Steam, which is on sale for $1. Thank you again for watching. Bye bye for now.